registered Nebraska sex offender Robert Franklin Warnick, who Dual County Sheriff Scott DaCosta and his deputies did everything in their power to help to get away. Well, I ain't shut up yet, now have I? I've been arrested over 30 times in the last 6 years for crimes that were never committed. I want you to think about that. I also want you to think about the fact that I was trying to turn in bad cops on every single one of those occasions. Every single one. What does making us go to our predators and their friends to turn in these predators, what does that actually result in reality? Their advice, their immoral and illegal legal advice that all of these places claim that they can't give out, right? They can't give out legal advice, except they have. And they were recorded doing it. Just like that guy yesterday. Sorry, 3 days ago now. That wanted to start shit with me over them youngins in the parking lot. Well, I'm not the one that started that racist bullshit. I'm the one who recorded my personal life and the environment that I live in. And anybody who happens to move into that environment by their choice, well, I didn't ask for them to come into my video. I also didn't ask for them to act damn fools while I was making a video. I didn't ask them to stream a bunch of racial bullshit. I did not ask Christian to threaten their lives. And I didn't ask for them to get a shitty attitude with me over it. Now let's get to Carlos. The immoral actions of the fucking cops here. Having Officer Loffman arrest me. Because they broke the law. Oh, I cursed. Poor them. If that's what I gotta do to get their fucking attention, then goddamn it, that's what I'll fucking do. Your fucking pigs and 911 operators need to do their fucking jobs. Just because somebody is homeless doesn't make it okay for them to not do their fucking jobs. So, Carlos was one of them youngins down there that was pretty nice to me. Yeah, he's kind of condescending, but you know what? We're going to talk about some evidence here. Now, y'all know I talk about how good the Mexicans are to me here. Well, the brown people. It just so happened that the guy yesterday who stopped and gave me some gas was from Mexico. Said so himself, and it is recorded. Now, Carlos pulled up next to me, I want to say 2-3 nights ago. And that youngin' who's having the screaming match with me, that pulled up to start shit, wanted to scream out a bunch of anti-LGBT stuff, and of course make a bunch of false allegations. Well, he was in the vehicle with Carlos a couple nights ago. Now, when I had to walk from the from the jail back into town without a cane, and I started having back spasms, well, Carlos and 2 other gentlemen came and helped me to get off the ground. The other night, Carlos pulled up next to me. Mind you, both these situations are recorded. One of them is recorded online because I was on a live video when he pulled up. He did ask if I was recording. I told him yes, of course I am. When at all possible, I'll apologize if I'm not recording. Oh. So he helped me off the ground. And then I was able to walk a little bit further until my back started spasming again. And I had to call 911. And even though they wouldn't allow me a ride at the jail, wouldn't allow me a cane, didn't care about my disabilities, and threw me right out the door. Well, I got to deal with that once I got to the hospital, too. How dare I tell on the hospital? How dare I? I must be a horrible person for doing that, huh? When I say that it's primarily Hispanic people helping me out, I mean it. When I say it's primarily brown people helping me out, I mean it. The color of your skin don't make you superior or inferior. That'd be your content of character. I don't want to be an asshole to anybody. I shouldn't have to be to defend myself. I shouldn't be attacked to begin with, but you know what? It still happens. We still live in a world full of selfish people. And you can't be a law enforcement officer without being a selfish person. You cannot be a law enforcement officer in America if you have any morality whatsoever. Sun's starting to come up. I should be able to go out there with my sign within the next 30 minutes or so. Let's talk about all the predators on my channel. How many of them are there? There's a lot. Not all predators are sexual predators. Some of them are financial predators. Some of them are physical predators. Some of them are just hunting for prestige or clout. Predators should be smart enough to stay away from me. After helping to get me up, the other night when Carlos came into town while I was recording the video, pulled up right next to me in the Safeway parking lot and started talking to me. The guy that was in the back seat, or the young man who was in the back seat, was the one from the silver Tacoma that I was having a shouting match with, and he talked to me far more cordially this time, far more like a human being. And of course, Carlos, he's respectful, isn't he? You got to hear him. He was respectful. He wasn't starting shit. And of course, like I said, he pulled up to my vehicle. I didn't go looking for him. When he helped me off the road, I was glad he was there. That night he pulled up with that youngin' in the back who was a jerk to me. Oh, that was fortuitous. That youngin', well, you notice that I haven't been screaming about what a horrible fucking little shithead he is. He talked to me like I was a person. Yes, things do change. When you approach me like a human being and talk to me like a human being and treat me with some respect like a human being, yeah, you get a different person. Carlos showed up again last night. Wanted to make sure nobody was messing with me. And although I've had to deal with a few people messing with me since the last time I saw him, I wasn't going to dump all that shit on him. The youngins, for the most part, yeah, they've been leaving me alone, except for the ones that drive by and scream the N-word at me every day. I was also informed one of them's name is Austin, one of them's name is Ian, and fuck, I want to say Garrett is the other one's name. I know that's not it, but it's something like that. You don't stop abuse by pretending it didn't happen. I have no way to process these videos because I'm in a constant state of panic, because I'm constantly stuck in public. I am constantly without money, without friends, without loved ones. Thank goodness for the Mexican people taking care of me. Thank goodness for the Hispanic folk taking care of me, because not all these people are from Mexico. Thank goodness for the brown people taking care of me, because not all of these people are Hispanic. You see where I'm going with this? People are people, so why should it be? You and I should get along so awfully. Now, that youngin' that was in his back seat wanted to accuse me of all sorts of shit, didn't he? But when he was in Carlos's back seat, he spoke to me, well, you could hear the condescension in his voice, but the words that came out were at least respectful, for the most part. While he was with Carlos, he wasn't calling me all those horrible names. He wasn't yelling at me, screaming at me. Thank goodness for Mr. Carlos. Last night when he pulled up next to my vehicle, again over at the Safeway parking lot. No. Yesterday it was down at the Tillamook Sporting Goods parking lot, wasn't it? Last night. Pulled up next to me. And of course I recorded it. Try to record everything. And again, it wasn't me seeking out Carlos. It was him pulling up next to me, making sure everything was all right. No, it's not all right. But I'm glad that Carlos exists. I'm glad for wherever his morality came from, whether it's a skin thing, a cultural thing, a religious thing, I don't care. I'm glad for it. Whatever his excuse is for not being completely shitty to me, it'd be nice if more people made that excuse. Hey, I'm not just going to be a piece of shit to somebody because somebody else said to. With Farnsworth, that was recorded too. Situations where he was having episodes towards other people and towards me. That's recorded on this channel. It's also recorded, was it yesterday, day before yesterday, when Robert Farnsworth walked up and gave me a couple of bucks. Wasn't mean, wasn't threatening, wasn't hateful. There's also a lot of other people that know that sometimes he's an asshole, but when he's not having a mental breakdown, he's a real nice guy. And I've seen that myself. I've even spoken out about how I see that myself. And James Roberts, he talks about the situation too. He knows I record everything. He doesn't have access to the internet, though. For me, I only have access to the internet because I have to. I got to spend my money on having a phone. As an autistic person, that's our lifeline, but it's only our lifeline if we actually have a friend we can call. See, that's what you don't get about autistic people and our phones. You cannot take them away from us. That prevents us from getting help right away when we need it, because all of us know that the police are just going to antagonize us, blow us off. Everyone knows this. Yeah, I stick up for immigrants. Yeah, I stick up for black people. I stick up for white people. I stick up for a lot of different people. I also expose the predators in every single group. Your skin color doesn't make it so that you can't be predatory. We've seen that time and again. Having a badge doesn't prevent you from committing felonies. We've seen that time and again. How many officers were arrested already this year for rape? And that's just the ones that are advertised. Most of their victims are never going to get heard. We've also gotten to see that it's also female officers. Getting busted, racial slurs, shooting people, murdering their husbands, murdering suspects. This year has been full of excuses to change sides. 38 teachers have been arrested this year. 38 female teachers have been arrested this year for having sex with their students. Majority of them, for having sex with their students. Some of them were only charged with molesting their students. Now, we've had over half a dozen male teachers arrested on similar lines, right? No. Only 3 of them were charged with rape or molestation. The rest of them, it was just rude comments. Student gets sassy with you, you get sassy back, right? Well, not if you're a male. You lose your job for that. You go to prison for that. Whereas here in Tillamook, Oregon, if you're a pedophile, they'll help you walk free. Here in Tillamook, Oregon, if you're a teacher who has sex with a 14-year-old student, do you know how much time you're going to spend in jail? 6 hours. That's all she got. 6 hours. Out of every state in the United States, Oregon has the largest percentage of their population that are sex offenders. Only 32,000 of them have to register on the sex offender registry. Only 32,000. Our population here is a lot smaller than it is in Texas. Texas has about 100,000 registered pedophiles and sex offenders. Here in Oregon, though, there's a lot of pedophiles and sex offenders that don't have to register. There's over 130,000 pedophiles and rapists in Oregon that are free, both registered and non-registered. God damn, I got a way of walking into the lion's den, don't I? Thank goodness for brown people. Thank goodness for Carlos. Now, when Carlos pulled up next to me the other day over at the Safeway parking lot, he wasn't driving, he was a passenger. And behind him, like I said, was that youngin' in the silver Tacoma who wanted to yell all that racist bullshit, the anti-LGBT bullshit. Wanted to run me out of town. I don't know who the driver was, but when I was explaining to him about the situation with that guy who assaulted me, and yeah, it's not an assault to me. Technically, it's an assault. Legally, it's an assault. But the police won't consider it an assault because it happened to me. And were I in better physical shape, I wouldn't have considered what that man did physical assault. I'd have considered it physical intimidation. Did I go looking for that trouble? No, that man came looking for trouble. He heard a rumor and thought that he would play judge, jury, and executioner. And of course, I explain to people what it is I'm doing and what my little goals are. My little goal right now is to make enough for coffee so I can go into the Safeway, walk my happy ass over to the Starbucks, get myself a coffee, chug it, get a refill, and leave, which is usually my routine. Now, there was a guy yesterday who thought that I had been over there at the counter for too long, and that's fine. He asked the staff there, and they said I wasn't being a bother. And I wasn't. I was being a customer. Now, if I get to talking too much, that does happen. And oftentimes while I'm talking, I know that I get to talking too much, so I give people easy outs. I'm like, well, I should let you get back to work. Now, there's a rule with them. Of course, I can't sit down like I was able to at the Fred Meyer's Starbucks or at the Starbucks next to Denny's. Can't go to either one of those, though, because situations beyond my control that certainly were not my fault, nor my decisions. Now, the guy who was driving Carlos the other night knew Wolnez's last name. When I was trying to guess it, he was able to get it right. I was like, yep, he knows the guy. I just don't know who the driver was. Righteous Mexican music. We will listen to this. Yup. So I guess this video is a thank you to Carlos and whoever helped raise him to be at least a little less of a shit than everybody else. I'm thankful for his humanity, even if it is sarcastic. I'm glad that the gentleman who was threatening towards me over at the grocery outlet parking lot in the Silver Tacoma was not acting the way that he had previously. I'm glad I was able to get the situations recorded. That's right. I have an actual recording of Carlos and his friend helping me up off the ground. And yesterday, that man from Mexico, he took me to the gas station, had me stay in the vehicle and get warm while he got out, paid for the gas, filled up the gas can, drove me back over here and put the gas in my vehicle himself. If that's not going above and beyond. Culturally, we are different. And the culture that I came from is every man for himself. I try to show people examples of what happens when you work together. Well, they won't look at those examples. They just want to argue. Oh, it'll never work. It'll never work. It'll never work. Well, it better work. It works for others. Why does it work for others? Oh, yeah, because they have friends or family that care. Because they have resources. Lothman never should have been allowed anywhere near me after I tried to turn him in the first time. I've tried to turn him in repeatedly since then for him to show up and be antagonistic and a bully. He did that at the hospital in November of last year. He did it over at the Tillamook Sporting Goods parking lot on multiple occasions. Same thing over at the Fred Meyer's parking lot. And it wasn't just him. We got Officer Trent Olson recorded on this channel being a little bitch too. We got recordings of Officer Martinez being a punk-ass little bitch. And a bully. And an antagonist. We got Sadler on here being a dumb piece of shit. We even got some really mean calls from me to these fucking pigs, don't we? What, you want me to talk nice to predators? I started off talking nice to them. That's how I found out they were predators. Dummy. When they're just going to talk over you instead of doing their jobs because you're just not enough of a human being for them to do their jobs. They're going to pawn you off on someone else. Well, fuck you goddamn pieces of shit. Fuck Tony Lotham. Or Lothman. His mommy and daddy didn't teach him to be a good person. Or are we going to do the it's your choice? He chooses not to be a good person. Well, at least Carlos chose to be nice to me at times where it was effective and useful. Where I was able to get some useful information. And also I was able to prove my point. I'm not going running around looking for these youngins. I'm not going running around looking for problems with these youngins. I'm not driving around town screaming their name and calling them an N-word. I'm not pulling up next to their vehicles and insisting that they talk. And at least Carlos was not super rude about it like a lot of them youngins are. If I don't go over right away, they'll start yelling my name across the parking lot. Now, they ain't done that in about 2 weeks, have they? 3 weeks, maybe. Instead, when they scream my name, it's followed by an insult. Oh, fucking well, right? It gets pretty fucking overwhelming. And that somehow magically justifies your crimes. If I'm overwhelmed, it's okay for you to hurt me. So I'll say again, I'm thankful for the Mexican connection. I'm thankful for people who have been through poverty. I'm thankful for people who see me as a human being instead of seeing me as someone they can stomp on when they have a bad day. When it comes to the coffee, I'll go in and I'll get a coffee. But if I leave the store and come back in, then I don't get a refill. I have to pay for another coffee. Since there ain't nothing else in the store I want, there's no reason for me to walk out of range of the little Starbucks kiosk, because all I'm going to do is drink my coffee and get a refill and fucking leave. That's what I'm going to do today, too. I'm going to go stand out there in the cold, and I'm going to hope I get enough for coffee. Have any of them youngins been giving me any shit? Well, yeah. But no, I didn't go into details with Carlos about that, because there wasn't a lot of details to tell. Yeah, there were some youngins yelling racist bullshit. No, I wasn't able to record it. Not on that particular occasion. It was actually 2 occasions within about 30 seconds of each other. I got so many predators, and the cops made so many rules. I basically had to break it down to just 1 or 2 predators whose names that I knew. The cops would not do anything about the situation unless I knew literally every single detail about my predators' lives. Well, holy shit. I'm not fucking stalking them. They're stalking me. I don't know shit about their lives. It haven't been for that Wolnez idiot letting me know what his name is, I likely still would not know. That young man who was with Carlos the other day, the driver, who knew Wolnez's last name, well, he had to make a few guesses before he was able to guess the right last name, but he knew the dude. And if it hadn't been for the fact that I knew his first name and kind of sort of what his last name sort of was, that young man was able to guess it. And of course, he was right. So is it really a guess or is it an educated guess? Anyway, I'm pretty overwhelmed and I might puke. I don't like puking up bile. I'd rather have coffee in my tummy first thing in the morning, because if I'm gonna vomit, it tastes a lot less nasty than straight bile. It's not that difficult to talk to me like I'm a person. Sometimes it just takes someone who's at least a little bit diplomatic. It's Sunday, so I should probably panhandle all day. If I panhandle all day, if it's a good day, I might make 40, 50 bucks. If it's not a good day, I'll make $2 to $3. $2 or $3 is not a whole hell of a lot, is it? What in your average day could you pay for with $3? Now think about all the other things that you buy in the average day. And before you go telling yourself, oh, well, I earned it. Oh, now you're making assumptions about others. You're making it about you. Your situation, your abilities, your family, your friends, your resources. That includes human resources. For you women, some of your resources are the tools in your toolbox. That's what I call the friend zone, because you're not interested in any of those guys. You're interested in a Chad. You talk about how you like nice guys, so you can keep the nice guys in the toolbox. Oh, poor me, here's some tears, come rescue me. And of course, every man is out trying to prove his usefulness, prove our usefulness. You know what? Fuck that. Women respond more often to negative stimuli than men do. Men, well, they tend to respond to positive stimuli. A lot of guys that I know, they hate their lives but love their girlfriends. When they used to love their lives, they just hated being single. They just hated being lonely. But then, of course, when the cure for lonely is abuse, have you really made a fair trade? There's arguments for both sides. Here on my channel, I'm not nice to anybody. I'm good to people, and it's different. Sure, I'm not flipping over tables or chasing people with a whip. But I can give a pretty good verbal lashing, and if you won't hear it, I'll just speak up on YouTube. No problem. Just speak up on Facebook. No problem. Is it my friends and family that came forward to help me? No. It was my friends and some of my family who pretended that they would help as long as they got something out of it. For most of them, it was financial gain. And when there was nothing left to gain financially, they were gone. Anyway, all three of the situations that I've had with Mr. Carlos are recorded. Well, all three of the interactions since being in jail. And I'm pretty sure every time he's ever talked to me before that, it was recorded too. Anyway, I'm cold as hell. I'm tired as fuck. I'd like to get some sleep. I got a little bit last night, but not much. Good to be with you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and your sister's too. And no victim left behind. Also, thanks to y'all brown folks, y'all Hispanic folks, y'all Mexican folks, and specifically the ones who have helped me out. Even if it's just a small contribution. You may consider it small, but at the time it's huge. This morning somebody might give me $3 for coffee. And although $3 may not seem like much to most of you, that $3 is warmth. That $3 is 2 cups of coffee. The first one I'll chug, and if I puke, well, at least I got something to rinse my mouth out with that doesn't taste like bile. Obviously, in order to get the refill, I got to stay in the store. And obviously, if there's nothing else in the store that I want, I'm probably going to stay by the Starbucks, chug my coffee, and then buy my refill and leave. Now, there's one thing that my predators are absolutely right about. I'm very dangerous. That's something that every single one of my predators is 100% right about. I am extremely dangerous. I'm just not violent. Look at how much damage my words have caused towards these predators. Look at how much me speaking up has disrupted their lives, disrupted their ability to have easy access to children. You can hate me all you want. You can hate me all you want. My methods are effective. It is unfortunate that acting like one of my predators is what gets heard.